Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Morgan Chesky here in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and we are headed to the Almorosa neighborhood, which is a suburb, and that's the area where former Red Sox star David Ortiz was shot late last night when he was at a restaurant, lounge, club with a friend. And we're following this story tonight for NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. And what we know right now is that the former slugger is currently heavily sedated in a Santo Domingo hospital after undergoing what his spokesperson calls a 6-hour surgery. Now we're told that David Ortiz, the beloved former Red Sox player, was shot when a gunman walked into this restaurant late last night, approached him, and then shot him in the back at point-blank range. That same bullet going through Ortiz and then hitting a friend that he was with in the leg. Now, all of this happened in mere seconds, and we're seeing some new video come in today that people there at that restaurant, whenever they saw this take place, they tracked down those two suspects before they could get away. They arrived on a motorcycle. One of those men able to run off. However, that group of people pretty much beat up the other suspect, held him there, and then handed him over to police, and he is in custody as we speak. Now, as for the health of Ortiz, like I said, he underwent that 6-hour surgery, but we're told that he did come out of it. However, doctors had to remove a portion of his intestines, his gallbladder, and we're told that he did undergo some liver damage in the process. All that said, we have just now heard from the Red Sox president, who has flown a plane down to the Dominican Republic, and we're told that as soon as it's safe to do so, Big Papi will be loaded up on that plane and in theory should be back in Boston by tonight, where he'll undergo treatment at Boston Mass General. Of course, the good news here, David Ortiz expected to survive this gunshot wound that happened at point-blank range late Sunday night outside Santo Domingo, and he will be back in the U.S. by tonight, getting much-needed treatment. I'm going to look at the questions here coming in. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of prayers coming in from everyone. And keep in mind that, you know, Ortiz touched a lot more people than just baseball fans. He was known for that iconic speech in the pregame moments after the Boston bombings when he went out on the field and he pointed his jersey and it said Red Sox, and he says, you know, or it says Boston, and he says, "This does not say Red Sox. This jersey says Boston." An iconic moment there, impromptu speech, now just a classic that shows just what kind of guy this is and how beloved he is, getting well wishes from everyone from President Obama, former President Obama, to members of the Red Sox team, A-Rod taking to Twitter saying prayers for Big Papi. So a lot of support coming in today for this man who, you know, visits his native country of the Dominican Republic relatively frequently, and he in fact he's known to visit this lounge pretty regularly when he comes here, but locals have been telling us that despite this crime, that this area is not typically known for having things like this happen. I'm going to go to the comments now. Some of you are asking some questions here. Let's see, people are asking, is he expected to make a full recovery? This is so sad. As of right now, despite this extensive surgery, David Ortiz is expected to make a full recovery, although keep in mind the extent of the injuries, that could be taking weeks, months, of course, if not longer. But he is stable right now in intensive care and heavily sedated. A lot of Boston strong comments coming in. That's right, he was definitely a symbol during that city's darkest moments. Let's see. I'm seeing comments asking if this was intentional or not. That is still under investigation. Well, they do believe the shooting itself was intentional, but we still don't know yet if Ortiz and his friend that was with him at that lounge were targeted, per se, specifically targeted because of who they are. That's going to be one of the main parts of this investigation that hopefully comes to light in the days and weeks ahead as we learn more about this. We did get a look at some of the surveillance video from that night, and you can see, although it's kind of grainy, clearly Ortiz slump over whenever that gun goes off and that bullet goes through his body and into the leg of his friend who's standing right next to him. If you're wondering why I'm in a car right now, by the way, we've just arrived at the Santo Domingo airport, and we're actually en route to that very neighborhood where Ortiz was shot Sunday night. It's a suburb of the city here, near a neighborhood called Omarosa, and we should be here within just a few minutes. Let me know if the connection isn't clean here, but I appreciate you guys tuning in, because as soon as this happened, you can understand that, you know, Ortiz is kind of an iconic figure, and here, a native son of the Dominican Republic, one would never think that he would become the target of such violence. Let's see. Comments here asking about the response of the people inside that lounge. You're right. Let's see. You're right, Laurent. The people that were standing there, whenever they saw that shooting took place, they grabbed one of the men involved. We don't know if he was the shooter or an accomplice, and they beat him up, essentially, and held him there until they could hand him over to police. He's in custody. Other man ran off, but you can rest assured that authorities are trying to track him down as we speak. Let's see here. Simone, you're right. This is the latest incident of crime in this country that we've seen in a relatively short time span. And that's unfortunate. My colleague Miguel Almaguer is going to be doing a story about that tonight on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, looking at just kind of the reaction now that this, you know, it's a very popular tourist destination, and suddenly it's being seen in a whole new light now as a result of this recent crime. So we're going to be talking about what happened to David Ortiz, but also kind of the reaction on a larger scale as to what this means for this island country down here south of the United States. Let's see here. All right. I think that'll wrap it up for now. Thank you all for the questions so much, and you can catch this full story coming up tonight on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. We'll see you then.